Chapter 10. I don't make speeches. I just let my bat speak for me in the summertime. Honus Wagner, shortstop, Pittsburgh Pirates. Clebo, House, Honey, and Eudora Weltley walked down the middle of the dirt road, a road that traveled the almost mile from Hallelujah to Mabel. Mabel was a crossroads dotted with farms, scattered with homes, and blessed with two large churches that faced each other across a dirt road, and a county middle school that boasted a brand new woodworking shop and greenhouse. The sun beat down on the travelers like a hot gold hammer. "I ain't never seen you like that, House," said Clebo. "Like what?" Standing up to Francis. "What do you mean?" "I mean I never saw you do that before." "Do what? Approach your problems?" "You never approach your problems, House. You don't talk about them." "You talk enough for both of us," House interrupted, but Clebo bulldozed on. "And that's what gets folks in trouble. They don't approach their problems." "Where'd you learn to talk like that? Your problem is you've been watching that soap opera at the laundry." "I can't help that. It's on when I'm there for lunch. I'm telling you, House, sometimes things need approaching." "I approached the plate, that's enough." But he had approached his problem, and he knew it. He had survived it, too. Clebo punched his fist into the catcher's mitt for effect. "You moused around all last summer after you got your elbow broke. I would have gone after Francis right then and there." He shoved his hands into his pockets and slouched towards home. "You should have blasted Francis just now, House. She deserves it." House worked his elbow. "I think the arm's fine," was all he said. He tossed his baseball in the air and caught it. Clebo kicked a rock in front of him. "So you can play ball in the afternoons now, House? What gives?" "Nothing gives," Clebo hooted. "All year long, the whole team showed up to play ball after school, and you said you couldn't come. School got out, and still you only showed up in the evenings. Now you can come any time? I'm your best friend, and you ain't going to tell me why?" "Nope. I don't know about you, House. We've had to do without you with no good explanation. I've been mighty forgiving about it. My arm was broken half the time. It's not broken now." "Well, here I am," House shouted. "Let's play." It felt good to yell. Clebo yelled too. "We ain't going to have a game if we don't figure out this pageant problem." "Well, I don't have the answers right now, Clebo." "Why do I have to figure out all the answers?" "Because you're the team captain. It's your team. You put it together in the first place." House sidestepped Eudora Weltley, who was wobbling her back and forth gait. "Hey," said Honey, "be careful." "Where'd your dog come from?" asked Clebo. "Found her in the bushes," said House. "I love her," chirped Honey, who was struggling to keep up. "Her name is you, doggy." "Eudora," said House. "That's what I said," Honey. "You, doggy." Clebo and House rounded a curve in the road. "Looky here," burst Clebo. The gates to Mr. Norwood Boyd's house were open. "Wow," breathed Clebo, staring at the crumbling house beyond the gates. "It's Mean Man's house." "Yeah," House spoke in a most non-committal voice. He shoved his hands into his pockets. There was his note, still rolled into a small crutch scroll. Clebo squinted at House. "You new baby eater, Boyd?" "What are you talking about?" House looked behind him for Honey. "You knew him," said Clebo. "I can tell." House shook his head. "Nah." "Yeah, you did," said Clebo. "It got to you, all that talk about him dying and who he was. You know what, Clebo? You talk too much. I wish you'd catched as good as you talked." "What about you talking about?" "I'm a good catcher." At the moment, Honey and Eudora caught up to the boys. Eudora stopped short, sniffed the air, then ran straight through the open gate to Norwood Boyd's house and disappeared. "You doggy!" screamed Honey. House sprinted after the dog with Clebo on his heels. "Don't go in there, House!" screamed Honey. House and Clebo screeched to a halt at the gate. "Eudora!" House called. The dog was gone. "Let me get her, Honey." "No. There's ghosts in there," cried Honey. She pulled on her brother's shirt as hard as she could. "There's no such thing," said House. "There's just a story. No, Honey began to cry. She leaned forward and wailed for Eudora. You doggy, Clebo hissed. I see where that dog comes from, and I know you know something. You can tell me. What did you do to him? Did you find the treasure? You're crazy, Clebo. House wrapped his arms around Honey, who was hollering herself blue for Eudora. She's in there with the ghosts. Ghosts can't see dogs, said House, and there ain't no ghosts. Then, why don't you go in and get her? Clebo spit into the mountain of kudzu by the gate. You go, said House. He stood and glowed at Clebo. Go on. You're all so fired much about ghosts and treasure. Clebo eyeballed the decaying old house and took a step through the driveway gates. Honey screeched. She wrapped her arms around herself like a mummy and held her breath. Clebo stepped back. You're not as brave as you thought you were, said House. And there ain't no treasure. Clebo jabbed his finger at House. You know something. House spit. I know I'm going home. You doggy, Honey wailed. She'll be at home waiting for us. Honey, let's go. Clebo took off his baseball cap and wiped his forehead with his sweaty t-shirt. You really going to be at practice this afternoon, or are you going to be busy? Let's you and me part company, Clebo. You can get your bike and go home. What about lunch? I bet your daddy is fixing 4, maybe 5 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches right now. I don't want company. House took Honey's hand. She made a miserable sound through her tears. What am I supposed to do for lunch? I don't care what you do. Go eat with the mamas and the Sunshine Laundry and watch Dr. Dan on television. Go get stretched, Clebo. Go get starched, Clebo. Fine, cried Clebo. I don't care if you show up for practice or not. Yes, you do. House let go of Honey's hand. She collapsed like a sad little balloon that was all out of air. House took an angry step toward Clebo. The inside of his nose stung with tears. Watch me approach my problems, Clebo. You tell me every day how I let the team down last year. What kind of friend does that? I'm the one that's been forgiving. A broke elbow is a broke elbow. Clebo blinked. Well, you should have watched where you were going. House crammed his baseball and his glove into his armpit. It wasn't my fault, Clebo, he said in an even voice. You know what, House? Clebo took one last look at the gloom that was Norwood Boyd's house. Eatin' at the laundry's better than eatin' with you any day. He stalked back toward town, throwing a shout over his shoulder. I'll get my bike later. Don't you touch it. House picked up Honey, who sobbed into her brother's neck. It'll be all right, Honey. But it would not be all right. House was wrong. He was wrong about Eudora, wrong about the treasure, wrong about everything. Special edition, June 17, the Aurora County News. Snippets from Snowburgers, an occasional column on the deceased of Aurora County. Mr. Norwood Reihart Beauregard Boyd claimed by death Thursday morn. By Comfort Snowburger, historian, recipe tester, and funeral reporter with help from Goldie Sugars, Snowburger's resident archivist. We here at Snowburger's funeral home live to serve. We pride ourselves on knowing everybody who has died in our county. We keep careful records of all the deceased and their resting places, so you can imagine the sheer surprise of it all when Bunch Snowburger was called away from his work table, where he was carefully preparing Mr. Clark Terry for his funeral and eternal rest, to ride with Sheriff Taylor over to the hearse to the nearby Mabel home of Mr. Norwood Reihart Beauregard Boyd. A closed-up, veritable, haunted house of a place, full of old treasures from long-ago travels, Mr. Norwood Boyd. A mysterious phone call alerted Doc McRae to the death. I thought he'd died eons ago, said Goldie Sugars, Snowburger's resident archivist, and she wants you to know, new to the job. I thought he was a ghost, said an amazed Tiding Snowburger, resident yard mower and bush trimmer. Heavens! Where and to whom do I send flowers? Said Joy Snowburger, wife of Bunch, and mother to little Mary, who took one look at Mr. Norwood Boyd's body as if it were wheeled into Snowburger's workroom and said simply and affirmatively, dead. Folks forget he was alive, said Bunch Snowburger. I forgot too. There was real sadness in his voice. It is rumored that years ago Mr. Norwood Boyd returned from many years at sea and locked himself up in his house, never to be heard from again. Why? And what happened after that? We may never know. A letter of direction written in Mr. Norwood Boyd's hand was found on the bed next to him. He was requested no funeral and instead sends word that he had no other plans, although that they have not as yet been discovered or disclosed. We here at Snowburgers await any forthcoming news so we can figure out what to do. If anyone is kin to Norwood Boyd, please contact Snowburgers immediately. We have a new batch of oversized Snowburgers handkerchiefs now being laundered and ironed by the all-new Sunshine Laundry in baskets placed strategically around the scenery suite. So don't worry about tears when you come forth to tell your story. We've got you covered. As always, Snowburgers remains a place for family comfort and repose. When you arrive for your loved one's funeral, you can rest assured that your every need will be attended to from the moment that door is opened by the greeter, Peach Sugars, so glad to see you, to the moment you are ready to depart, when our new puppy, Surprise Snowburger, walks, runs, twirls, jumps, yips with you to your car to see you safely home.